Hello, welcome to this episode, which is about self-trust. So, I just wanted to talk about kind of some times where I've broken self-trust and how I lost myself and how important it is to really just listen to your intuition, listen to yourself. Because it's kind of like the further that you're on the train, you miss your stop home and you're on the train, and then the further you go, it's like the longer it takes you to come home. And that really is what self-trust is like. It slowly erodes you every single time you go against yourself. Now, a few times where I've probably, especially in the past, oh my God, so many times in my 20s, I've kind of gone against myself. I can remember one specific time, which was I had a boyfriend and we were probably 4 months in, and I do remember telling him at the time, I'm just not sexually attracted to you anymore. I just don't feel this. And, he was like, oh, we'll work it out. Like, it will be okay. And I kind of just blamed it on the fact that I was like starting a business and it was work and that kind of thing. But I think it was really my intuition being like, no, this person doesn't align with you. This person won't be good for you. And you should trust yourself not to continue. And I continued, and we went and traveled the world, and it's like the whole time everything just felt off, and I felt flat and I felt depressed around him. And the moment I got to break up with him, because I was kind of like an exit where I had to exit the situation finally and go to another country, is I realized that, this person is not good for me. And it took me a long, long time to trust myself and my intuition. And then on top of that, I went straight into like another kind of situationship, relationship, whatever we call it these days, on the back of that, and it wasn't good for me. And there was a moment where I sat with him and I was like, I just don't think I should be doing this right now. I think I need to go work on myself. And I went against my intuition in that moment as well, and I carried on continuing being with this person, and he tore me down and tore my personality apart. And I don't regret anything all those times. Like, I'm not saying I wish I went back, because it's not, there was lessons to be learned, and I wouldn't be sitting here today being like, okay, now I know. But when I'm saying you're going against your intuition, it breaks your self-trust. And self-trust is so important to be able to move in life. You need to trust yourself that the things that you are doing are the things that you want to do. Something that I'm doing at the moment is I'm building out a business that I've always wanted to build out. And I had a bit of a freak out yesterday. I was like, am I even doing the right thing? Is anybody actually going to listen to me? This is crazy. I have stopped most of my work, all my freelance work, to focus on building this thing. And I'm like, it might not even work. And then I just sat down and I said, just have the trust in yourself that it can, that it will, that you'll try at least. At least if you try, you'll know. And if you don't know, like, how are you supposed to know if you don't try? So I just sat down and I started actioning everything that I needed to action on my to-do list, the editing and all the things that I'd been avoiding. And the more that I avoid it, I noticed that I get into that headspace where it's like, oh, it's not working. But it's like, no, I'm just actively avoiding the thing that I need to do. And it's something I'm just like trying to work out right now. It's like, where's the blocks? Where's the mental blocks? There's probably times in your life where, there's probably times in your life where you've probably chosen to like outsource your decisions to other people. The thing that I stopped doing years ago was asking for people's opinions, because other people's opinions, they don't know what's going on in my mind. They don't know how I move or that kind of thing. And sometimes it's so crazy to me when friends, I was more like in my early 20s, I would be like, oh, and what do you think? Like, should I message this person, or should I do this, or should I move this country? And I'm like asking for everyone's opinion to kind of validate how I'm feeling. And if they don't, then I might be swayed to like what they think. And then I was like, I'm not asking anybody's opinions whatsoever. Because when I started building my like online business, I was like, I'm not asking the average person who doesn't know how to build an online business, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I crazy for doing this? There's like, that person has no idea. They will probably try and shrink my dreams. So I just completely stopped, and I don't ask people for opinions. I like to hear people's views and maybe advice and, that kind of thing on certain subjects I actually may not have any idea about, but I know that they have some kind of knowledge on it. But to make life-altering decisions and ask someone, oh, should I move countries, or should I, text this boy, or do I continue on this relationship? It's like, no, just have the self-trust within you that you know what's right for you, because you do. You genuinely do. You know when you're in the wrong situation. You know when it doesn't feel right. You know when you shouldn't be there. You know when you shouldn't continue, and you do deep down feel it, but we choose to ignore it, and we choose to ignore our self-trust. And the more that we ignore our self-trust and our intuition and that kind of thing, we disrespect ourselves. We're disrespecting ourselves, and we don't need to be doing that. And sometimes when you're, doing the whole like self-trust thing and you're losing it, you are going to abandon your own needs to keep the peace. So, like maybe you've had a fight with somebody or your partner or whoever, or you're just staying in a job that just like, oh yeah, but they've been so good to me on this, and this. So I guess I just have to continue. It's like, no, you don't have to continue anything. You just do what's right for you. Do what's right for you. You also need to know the difference between your intuition and your fear. So sometimes people say, oh, look, I had this, it's intuition. But it's like, no, maybe I think that's maybe fear or anxiety as to what's pushing you to feel that way. Intuition feels very calm. It feels aligned. That's what intuition is. It's steady, it's quiet, it's those little like kind of drop-ins that you have, those downloads that you have, and I feel like that is intuition. When I have been running off fear or anxiety, I will be like not eating, I will just be hyper fixated on that one subject. Like my feelings will be so dysregulated, and I will think that's intuition. I'll be like, yeah, everything's giving me the sign. Because I just want to confirm that what I'm feeling is correct. And that is not intuition. That is really the fear of just like, just urgent, panicky, just all of those things. That is fear. Gosh, that's a big snore, baby. You're doing a really big snore in the background. Should we hear it? Yeah, okay, he stopped because I put the mic near his nose. You're snoring, buddy. You're snoring real loud. How I've learned to trust myself going forward. How do you build self-trust? What is it? Action. So much action. I am reading the book like Atomic Habits at the moment, and there was a page in it. It's like it's called Law 3 or something, the third law or something, and it's basically about action and motion. So motion is the planning, this is what I do quite a lot, is the planning of the scripting of the YouTube video, planning of the like the bio and the little bits and bobs that you do around your channel, or that kind of thing. That's motion. That's just constant planning. But if you get stuck in that constant planning, you actually have no data through action. So when you do action, that is going to give you so much more feedback for yourself. Even if it might not be the right thing to do, I just don't think that's even like a sentence I want to say anymore. Anything is just action. That's going to become data, and that's going to become something that you can actually look like, okay, well, I need to change this, and now I know how to do this better. So you have to do so much radical action for self-trust. When I was starting to so first of all, this is like a really great example. When I broke up with this guy, the crazy one at the middle of last year. And he'd broken so much of my self-trust. And it wasn't him, I'd broken it because I just kept going back to him and accepting situations that I shouldn't have. And then, do you know what? I was like, every time someone doesn't quite feel right to me, or like my intuition is off, and I'm just because I get the first, I don't know, sprinkle of attention from someone, I'm not going to feed into it. And yeah, I just went single for a very 7 months or so. And I was also wary even about the current guy that I was dating. I was like, am I doing the right thing? But I had self-trust in his certain actions and his consistencies that this would be a thing that I would like to continue, And then it was just so funny because the day that I met him, it was like I had two worlds in front of me. I had one, a really nice, stable, kind character in front of me who didn't push me to go on a date with him, was just like having a lovely conversation. And I felt really safe. And I was like, oh, this is really nice on my nervous system because I feel very overwhelmed by men right now. And I just don't want any part of it. I just didn't want any part of it for a very, very long time. And then I met somebody later that day who also was like the character I usually would go for, which would be that kind of, that, oh, you're so amazing, the over-complimenting me, and you're so beautiful, and oh, we should go on a date, and we should do this and that. And it was just, and I used to think that was so charming, and the overwhelm and that kind of thing. And then I just clocked it straight away, and I was like, nah, that just doesn't feel right to me. I think he messaged me and was like, oh, hey, would you like to go watch the sunset or something, literally the next day. And I was like, well, that day or that afternoon. And I was like, no, I actually don't. I sent him a voice note. I said, I really appreciate you reaching out, but I'm just not in the headspace at the moment. And I had that self-trust within myself to not go for that character. And it paid off because I now allowed and opened and respected myself to have different connections with a different type of character that I wanted to be around, someone that reflects who I am. And I didn't want to get caught up in that character, that world anymore. I was like, oh. So I had to keep building my trust, even with just showing up and going to the gym every day. That put more self-trust in myself to be healthier and happier because I was doing the things that I needed to do. Just putting my self-trust into showing up to my business every day. And then I started getting more brand deals, and brands were messaging me, and they were so happy with the quality of the content that they were getting from me. And I was like, oh, thank you. This is so reassuring because I'm just doing the things that I know are going to build my self-trust and build me back up. And now I feel like I can do anything, but it takes time. You've got to and I had to continuously do the actions every day. And there's, yesterday I had a wobble at myself and was like, I can't be a leader. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, I am going to build an app. I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to help all of these people. I'm going to put all these people in a room. And you know what? It's going to be like a 10, 20 year. It might be my whole legacy of the thing that I want to do is just help people. And I was like, that's it. And I cut off my old dream of just wanting to, my old dream was just to be a digital nomad and travel the world and do content. But now it's like, I feel like it's so much bigger than that. And I was just like, I have the self-trust within myself to go and get that goal because I have done the actions to prove to myself that I can do it. And I'm going to have to continuously do the actions. And that is it. You've got to continuously take action. And that's the only way you're going to be able to build evidence, and it's going to rewire your trust. You have to show up. So I didn't trust myself at first. I started to trust the process, and then that's when confidence came. That's when confidence was built. You can't get confident before you do the thing. You have to just do the thing, and then you got the data to prove it. The more that I take action, the more that I show up, the more that I post, the more that I being loud, taking up space, those kinds of things. And the more trust I have in myself. And that's what I hope that you will too. And also, confidence is going to fluctuate. There's going to be, like I said, there's going to be days where you're just like, I just don't feel so good. And then there's days that you're going to be like, I just feel $1 million. I can do anything. I can go anywhere. And definitely I have those moments. But self-respect, that is steady. When you do the actions out of self-respect for yourself, then it just, everything becomes aligned and you're in flow. And so you're probably wondering, okay, well, what does self-trust look like in real life? I don't actually really understand it. Like, I get you're just like doing actions and you're doing things, but what is it really? And I've wrote down here, so just saying no without over-explaining. Instead of being like, oh, and yeah, no, but I can't do that because of da-da-da. It's just like, no, I'm not going to do it, sorry. I'm not going to do it because it just goes against what I just don't want to. Sorry, I'm not going to turn up to that thing. I just don't have the time. Don't even know I have to explain. Why am I adding an explanation on that? Following through on promises to yourself. This is about what I talk about as action. So if you have a goal to go to the gym 5 times a week, then get to the gym 5 times a week. Even if you're there for 20 minutes, go turn up for 10. I can guarantee you 10 will probably turn into an hour. It usually does. You know, there'll be sometimes I'll be like, I really cannot do it. And I'll be like, you never feel bad when you leave. So even if it is like, you know, there's multiple times where I have such an average workout, but I'm glad I just got into the gym and just did it anyway. I'm glad I just showed up. And even if I was showing up for 20 or 40 minutes, you just got to show up. Even if you're editing for, you know, start with 10 minutes of editing or 10 minutes of posting or that kind of thing, or 10 minutes on your business. You'll find that you'll get into a flow and you'll be there for hours. So really just following through on those promises. Posting content even when it feels uncomfortable all the time. It's going to keep feeling uncomfortable. I don't think that any person that even is good, who's probably posted 1,000 times over, feels comfortable. You know, it just really is one of those things of, it's just self-development. Posting content is self-development, but you're just out there showing yourself to the world. So post the damn content. Post it. And walking away sooner. Those times that I told you where I should have just gone with my intuition and walked away, my life could have been so much different. I may have been 10 times further than I am now. I guess I had to learn these lessons. But now when I now know going forward with whoever, even if it's a relationship or a friendship or a work friendship or that kind of thing, you bet I'm saying no. And, you know, I got offered like a good brand deal the other day and I was like, no, like I know my worth. I was like, I've been a content creator for 3 years. I know I can like create really high quality content. I'm not taking that deal on. So I just said no. I was like, I have self-respect and self-trust that there's something better around the corner for me. And there always is. Then I had like a really great conversation today with somebody who called me and they were like, oh, like if you do a great job, I've literally got like 100 other clients that need content. I'm like, great, perfect. And that's the type of opportunity I should be opening myself up to. Also not abandoning your routines, especially when emotions hit. You know, I could even say this morning I felt so tired. I didn't go up and get up and go to the gym. I know I'll go to the gym this afternoon and I know I will do that, but I should have got up. I abandoned my routine in that moment. Now I'm 2 hours behind in my day. I'm not saying I'm sitting here and going to say that I'm perfect because nobody is. But if you can try and show up as much as possible, especially with your habits and your routines, that puts so much self-trust in yourself. I think when I noticed that I was like on the best high of my life is when I woke up every day for like 3 months at 5 a.m. and did my morning routine. And I don't know what it was. It just instilled so much more self-trust in me to be like, oh, I can show up. I can get up at 5 a.m. and just do the thing that I need to do. So yeah, you will be really surprised if you don't sleep in how much self-trust it puts in yourself. And stop obviously asking everybody for advice. Stop over-seeking reassurance from people. I think it's just going to make you more confused. I think if anything, just learn to check in with yourself, journal it down, have a think about it for 3 days if it's something that's really deep. And, obviously there's times where you've got to speak to friends about things that you're going through. But when I usually speak to friends about what I'm going through, I don't try and speak to them in the moment. I'd be like, I'll go through that season or pattern or thing that I've been working out, and then I'll tell them like, so I went through this is what happened, and then I kind of came to this conclusion, and then I kind of exited on that plan. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, have you ever thought that you could actually have done it this way? And then I'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. Instead of me being halfway through where I was emotional, and been like, well, what do you think? And what do you think? And then I'm everywhere. And just trying to just gain advice from everybody. It's like, no, I just need to listen to myself first. And it doesn't matter if I got it wrong, because I would have just been like, oh yeah, and you know what, I didn't do it this way, but at least I learned like it this way. And then like, oh, I could have told you that. And you're like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have listened because I would have just done it the way that I needed to do it, to learn that lesson. And self-trust is also built on the hard days, not on the easy ones. It's on the days that you don't feel like posting the content. It's on the days that you don't feel like showing up to the gym. It's on the days of just like, you've just got to be consistent because you just have to be consistent, and you have to sit down at your computer and do the work that you need to do, or you just need to show up for your family because you just need to show up for them. It is really, and then when you lay your head on the pillow that day, you'll be like, oh man, I really just do love myself, and I trust myself that I can follow through. And that's when, anyone can build trust when everything's going well, because you're just like, oh, life's good. But self-trust is really built when you are really just down in the dumps. When I was like in the worst headspace ever, and I came back to Perth after traveling, and I was like, oh, I just don't even know what I'm going to do. I feel off the rails, and I was just like, put my routines in place. Keep showing up to the gym. Keep reading the books that I need to read. Keep showing up for my business and just just get through it every day as much as I can. And then it just started to build and build and build. And then I just got more confidence, and I was like, oh, this is great. I feel really good. And the hard days started becoming the good days. And I see more good days than I see hard days now. Don't get me wrong. There's like, I stayed up till 11 o'clock last night just editing. But I sat there and was enjoying it and having the best time ever. So there's that too, But anyway, I want to leave with kind of something to close it off, which would be, do you feel like you are trusting yourself enough? And if you're not, and you're breaking your self-trust, reevaluate why and where you could do better, because you deserve to have the life that you want, and that does come with self-trust. Okay, bye. Love you. I've got so many things to do today, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you at the next YouTube.